Hello and welcome to another learning lesson right here on Street Biashara. I'm your host Brenda Nyamichaba. The first derivatives market in East Africa and number 2 in Africa, dubbed Next, that was launched last week, started trading at the Nairobi Securities Exchange. The derivatives market will enable investors to diversify their investments, manage risk and deploy funds more efficiently. Besides the many benefits to the traders, the platform will position Kenya as a leading financial hub and therefore attract additional international investors. Now today on Street Biashara, we'll be focusing on the word derivatives. Do you know what that means? Well, let's go and find out. Derivatives.
Derivatives.
My skill.
No, I've not heard of that. Yeah, I can guess, yes. Maybe someone had a business before, then you buy from him, then you get like maybe his customers or something.
So
I think it's money that's made off of a loan.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The bank makes money off of the loan.
Inatoka from delivery.
Okay,
Kupokeza. Kama kupokeza.
Derivatives, I don't know. I can't remember.
Give me a guess what you think.
Derivatives, I can't remember now.
Derivative ni inatokana jina deriva. So derivative ni kupokeana.
Oh.
Yeah.
Derivatives. Have you heard of it?
Calculus.
Hey, calculus. Okay.
I've
What
never
do you
heard
think it
of
means in the business way?
Relate. I really don't know.
For real? Okay. Derivative.
So I'm guessing he's a mathematician now that he uses some calculus.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's not really connected to the business.
Ijina derivatives. My skill. Derivatives.
Derivatives. Sijasikia.
Unataka kujaribu niambie kinamaanisha. Going on the streets of Nairobi and getting to understand what exactly you know about the term derivatives, it's time for us to get a clear understanding and definition of that term from my expert who's joining us on Street Biashara today, who is Mr. Gift Corey, who is an analyst at Apex Africa Capital. Thank you so much for joining me on Street Biashara.
Thanks for having me.
Great. So we're just going to jump right into the question and me asking you, what are derivatives?
So basically derivatives are, at the simplest form, contracts. These are contracts that two parties enter into and they lock in a certain price on which a certain commodity is going to be traded at on a future date. So they come in the form of futures, options and swaps. These are all forms of derivative contracts.
Okay, and how exactly do they work?
So derivative contracts are usually premised upon an underlying asset. So it could either be a stock, it could be an index. So there has to be something that's an underlying asset that the derivative contract is actually traded on. So if I want to buy, I enter into let's say an item which is commodity such as oil. I want to lock in a future price of oil today. So I will enter into a future contract with a person on the other side where we come to the table and agree that on a 3 months down the line, for example, we are going to exchange this particular product at this certain price. And this is just mainly to cushion both players against what they think in terms of volatility in the market or the inherent risks in the market on a future period or date.
Okay, great. Now, would you say the NSE is ready for derivatives?
I don't think it's there yet. There's a lot of financial education that needs to be done just to get even guys to understand stocks first, even before we move on to derivatives. Since derivatives started trading at the local booths, we've seen very little activity. Some days go without any derivative contracts being traded. So I think we have a really long way to go.
Okay, so we're very far from it.
Yes.
So are we going to see a case where only strong companies like Safaricom and EABL attracting more investments than companies that really need those investments?
So the reason why the current derivative contracts are only being traded on companies like Safaricom, EABL, and the large cap counters is because these counters are actually very liquid. thus they support such instruments like derivative contracts. I don't think there is a necessary bias in terms of asset allocation to these companies because they are already actively trading, and I don't think that's going to change from an investment perspective.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Mr. Gift Corey, for joining me on Studio Biashara today. It was really great to learn that particular information from you. Well, there you have it, the meaning of derivatives. And I do hope you've actually understood from this learning lesson today, because next time I come out on the streets to ask you this particular term, I hope you'll know it.